Hey guys, how you doing? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report with a SBI report. SBI stands for Sports Betting Index, and what we do in this segment here, guys, is we track the current market conditions of the sports betting industry. You've heard me say this many times on these podcasts. I look at the industry of sports betting like the stock market. I believe in the market psychology. In fact, if you look at last night in the NBA, a lot of underdogs won straight up last night in the NBA. In fact, 7 of the 12 games won straight up for the underdogs. The underdogs went 7-5 straight up, and if you look on the season, we are 8-6 to the underdogs, and that's picking straight up winners in the NBA. If you started betting the NBA this season, looking at the over-unders last night, 50%. So we're in a neutral market, and then for the underdogs against the point spread. So this column here is for straight up. And again, to get an underdog to win straight up in the NBA, man, we're off to a good start if you pick the underdogs. In fact, the underdogs 8-4 last night in the NBA. We are in a bearish market for favorites so far this season in the National Basketball Association. Why am I bringing up the NBA in the NFL podcast? It's just I like to join the two. The SBI to give you an understanding on how the markets work from a psychological point of view. So this way, how your mindset can change on any given day or any given week in the NFL. In fact, let's go to the NFL to see this season what's coming in, what's cashed. Look at this column right here, straight up. The favorites have won 66.4% of the games compared to 33.6%, and that's just straight up factor. In fact, if you look, it's been a bull year. Only 4 neutral weeks. Neutral, guys. So when I look at the stock market or the sports betting industry, anything that's 0 to 42.7 win percent, I call that a bear market. 42.8 to 57.1, I call that a neutral market. That's the market I want to bet into. That's where I put my heaviest, my biggest plays in. Whenever we're in a neutral market. When you're in a bear bullish market, it's, I'll give you an example. Look at, if you follow cryptocurrency, how would you want to bet into, say, an altcoin like XRP right now, right? XRP is crashing. The news is negative. Who would bet right now in XRP when the market psychology for that asset is really low, right? Bitcoin is pretty stable. Ether is pretty stable. The S&P, the Dow Jones, those are the type of things that I take from the real stock market world and the cryptocurrency world, and look at it from a sports betting perspective and have that same type of mentality when I'm putting my bets into the sports betting world. All right, let's look at the over-unders right now in the NFL. And again, if you've seen our podcast with me, Ross Benjamin, all year, I've been saying the totals is where you really make your money, because when you're betting ATS, look at this on the season and against the point spread for the NFL, 44.5% of the favorites have won, 53.3% of the underdogs have covered. The betting public will always be geared towards betting with comfort, betting something that makes them feel good, and that's favorites. Sometimes in life, no matter what, you're gonna have to go against the current, against the mainstream way, the contrarian way of thinking, and you're gonna have to do things that make you feel uncomfortable to be successful. And sometimes that means betting into underdogs. And if you've bet underdogs so far this year, 53.3% is what the dogs have come in. And if you look at last week, we're in the underdogs have cashed in last week, 62.5%. Now, if you look at this column right here, you see the Bears and the Bulls. There's only been 2 weeks where the favorites have cashed. Week 14, 68.8% of the favorites have come in, and week 10, 64.3%. Underdogs have had more days than the favorites. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 underdog weeks this year have cashed in, and then the neutral markets right here. And that's what I like. I like when we're betting in a neutral market, but right now we're in a bear market for favorites. And the reason why I say it's bear market is it's like the old Janet Jackson song, right? What have you done for me lately? And what's the number one thing people who don't do this as a living, what's the first thing they're gonna go to as their indicator? What did that team do last week? How did the favorites do last week? Everything is based on past performance, and that's where a lot of the bookmakers get their psychology making the line, knowing how you're going to feel betting into this week's line, right? All right, so that's why I brought up the NBA. I got a couple of two-team parlays that I want to share with you here, guys. I'm going to go with the New York Jets. The New York Jets now are plus, I believe it's plus 9.5 this week. I'm just going to get the latest number. Jets here, plus 9.5. Check this out. When the New York Jets are a 7 to 9.5 point underdog on 6 days rest, and they're coming off an ATS win like they did last week against the Rams, since 1983, 10-1-2 against the number. And the Tennessee Titans, I got a nice little stat here on the Titans. Whenever they're a 3.5 to 6.5 point underdog versus non-division opponents the last 4 years, 11-1 against the number. And again, it's about that comfort level going to Green Bay. A lot of people is going to be on Green Bay. They're going to be the favorite. 3.5. Green Bay is 3.5 point. Green Bay's been blowing out everybody, right? When was the last time? And Green Bay's their strength of schedule has been very cozy for them, and I think they're going to get tested this weekend against Derrick Henry and the Tennessee Titans. And so that's what I'm going to do, guys. That's a two-team parlay I'm going to play this weekend. The Jets plus 9.5, and I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans plus 3. And keep in mind of the market conditions, right? Right now, last week, a lot of the favorites did not come in. It was a bear market for the favorites, 62.5. So let's be honest, the favorites have only cashed in twice, have 2 winning weeks out of 15 weeks so far. But again, I think you make more money betting totals. I feel you get more, from a market psychology, market fairness. I think there's more value in betting totals. And look at this, at the end of the year, 50-50. It's amazing how, if you go look at every total of any sport, it's amazing how the bookmaker can keep it between that 46, 47 range to 52, 53 range in totals, and you don't have a big discrepancy like you do here with straight up factors and ATS factors, right? 50-50 is really hard to do if you're a bookmaker to get that balance. All right, guys, that's the Raymond Report, SBI report, and two-team parlay for this weekend. As always, shop for value, play those percentages. We'll see you back shortly with another Raymond Report.